Very good, thank you. So, just a quick show of hands, we've got a few new faces today. Who has heard of Dynamics 365? Most of you, excellent. So, we actually made the announcement and lifted the NDA on what we are providing in Dynamics 365 last week. So what I wanted to do is just very quickly go through at a very high level, give you an understanding of what is coming within Dynamics 365. But then at another session, potentially next month, we'll actually go through in more detail around what's coming in the new Dynamics 365 suite. So ultimately, this is the new version, new branding, new model for CRM, as well as for our ERP offering, which was formerly known as AX. So now it's all Microsoft Dynamics 365, sales, service, field service, project service, marketing and operations. So they're all the components within there. But alongside of this comes other components from Microsoft around Office 365, Power BI, Cortana Intelligence Suite, Azure IoT Suite. And then across all of these things, we've got this app source, which is basically an area where our partners can go through, the partners and internal Microsoft, can go through and build extensions to any or all of these components and then offer that through to you, which you can then install in your environment, and therefore being able to get more capabilities built into your tools much quicker than traditionally would be able if you were to build it up yourself. And across this is the common application platform, which basically involves Power Apps, Microsoft Flow, and the Common Data Model. So today I'm going to be going through the Microsoft Flow component, which does have links into Dynamics, but it also has links into other areas here as well. And we'll take a look at that in more detail. But from a high-level perspective, from a sales perspective, some of the things which we're bringing up is relationship insights. We're introducing a new partner hub capability. We've got unified business processes and some additional gamification components in here. As I said, I'm going to run through this part very quickly because we're going through this later. All these slides will be posted up on the Meetup site post this meeting as well, so if you want to have a little bit more of a detailed review. From a customer service perspective, we're putting in some advanced service analytics, again, building out more customer insights, doing the business process and configuration wizard, and then also enhancing our learning path and the gamification components across there as well. From a field service perspective, we've got a connected field service capability, which is sort of linking into the Internet of Things and automatically creating new work orders. We've got resource scheduling optimization, scheduling unification. So currently we've got scheduling for field service, for project service, and just for general CRM stuff. All those three separate engines. We're bringing that all in together into the one environment. But increasing more capabilities around customer communications, and also embedding empowered maps, so that we're able to do things like route based on best traffic and stuff like that. From a project service automation perspective, we are delivering client-side integration into Microsoft Project. So therefore you're able to manage your projects and have that go through back into Dynamics. Again, from that scheduling unification perspective, we're also introducing exchange booking integration. So therefore, people that might best be booking out time within their exchange calendar actually utilise that to see who's available for scheduling on projects, even if they haven't necessarily scheduled that through the Dynamics platform. Unified contracts and billing with field service, and then collaborative portals as well. From an app extensibility perspective, we're introducing some visual process designer capabilities, so which you'll see screenshots of over here. Editable grids, which sounds like a small thing, but it's something which we've been waiting for a long time. Again, the scheduling unification. Also data warehouse backup and restore, so giving you more power over your data that's housed within the cloud, and also providing some additional performance enhancements for reporting as well. So within here, there's a link here which basically goes through each of these capabilities as well as more on our crmroadmap.dynamics.com. And as I mentioned, we will be running a future user group meeting around this. Haven't locked it in whether it is going to be the next one. The next one actually is our final one for the year, so probably will be, but we've just got to make sure that we've got the right resources and the right amount of information to share with you. And if you do need a bit more detail, then also feel free to book in a meeting with your account rep as well. We released the NDA last week, so therefore this site has now been updated with a lot of information. So just before I move on from that, any quick questions around Dynamics 365 and capabilities there?
Availability to the public?
Yes, sorry, very good point. November 1st. November 1st US time, so I'll be November 2nd here. Okay. Now, what happens with our releases is that's going to be the release date for a lot of our online functionality for new customers and new instances within existing customers. Not all the functionality will necessarily be available at that time. We do these in what we call waves. So we start the process off, and then there's some little bits of features and capabilities which come in over the next couple of months. So some of it might be delayed out until January, but the majority of it, from an online perspective, will be available in November. From an on-premise perspective, haven't got the exact date, but it's usually about 2 weeks after the online one. So sometime in November, then on-premise customers will also be able to get the value and the benefits of a lot of Dynamics 365 capability, but not all. And that's going to continue where we do release more and more capability in our online offering as opposed to our on-premise offering. Yes?
Mike, probably not hugely important to a lot of the audience here, but I'm just wondering about marketing, whether there's been any significant plans to upgrade the marketing functions.
Yep, great question. So we've also made a recent announcement around our partnership with Adobe. So Adobe have a marketing suite of products, enterprise-grade marketing suite of products. And so what we've decided to do is we've made a very strong partnership with them. They're in the process of moving their services over from AWS into Azure. And as a result of that commitment, then we're also basically backing them as our marketing platform for enterprise customers. As a result, what we're doing is we are deprecating Microsoft Dynamics Marketing, which was that other application which was available. Within CRM core functionality, there is some components of additional marketing capability which is being built in, which helps us with things like customer insights, so some analytics on reading, who's read the emails I've sent, that sort of stuff is actually being built into Dynamics. But as a core marketing platform, ultimately we're going to be partnering with Adobe to deliver that functionality.
Thanks, Mike.
Now, the other thing with this as well is that we actually have 2 editions of Dynamics 365. We've got an Enterprise Edition and a Business Edition. The Business Edition is not going to be available in Australia until probably mid next year. And what that does is it doesn't necessarily leverage from the Adobe partnership. There is some additional capabilities which will come at that point in time within CRM. And also from an operations perspective, we're utilising our NAV product as opposed to our AX product as sort of bundled more into that. But as I said, that'll be probably mid-year next year, in calendar year. Any other questions?
Is it next version of 2016 or?
Is it what, sir?
Next version of 2016, Dynamics CRM?
Effectively, yeah. Yeah, so it's a major release for us. So yeah, it's effectively from Dynamics CRM 2016 up to Dynamics 365.
So what about partnership and certifications? Has that been published or will be published in the Dynamics 365?
It will be. I don't know anything about that, unfortunately. So probably best to chat to Scott. Good. So other announcements is around myself. So I am actually leaving Microsoft. My Friday will be my last day. I have accepted a role over at Telstra as a major projects lead, primarily focusing on SMB, which therefore doesn't generally cover federal government. So unlikely to be coming back to Canberra very often, and as a result, there's going to be some spots available within the user group committee, which is why I sort of decided to inform you all about this as well. Yeah, as I said, Friday's my last day, but also what I've done at this point in time is I've decided to invest in another organisation called 10th Dimension Solutions, who have developed a proximity-based add-on to Dynamics. So what that means is that as you enter a particular location based on a geofence, or as you walk past a particular sign, or as you tap your phone onto a certain thing, then a whole range of different experiences can come up. You might recall Minority Report, how this guy's walking into the building and then it's going, hi Mr. Anderson, last time you were here you bought this particular thing, would you like that again? That's what this is. It's real, it's now, it's available. I see this as a fantastic capability, so I decided to invest in that company. Telstra's given me the blessing to do this as well. So I will be coming back next year as a presenter on that capability to the user group, yes, I'll be moving on. So as a result, there is 4 positions available in the user group committee. As I mentioned, there is only one more meeting for this year, post this event. So we're probably not expecting anybody to fill that for this year, but just have a think about whether you'd like to be involved in the committee for next year. We do really encourage people, customers and partners to be involved in this. Myself and Craig work for Microsoft, but Ching, Pete and Avi all are partners and customers. So please have a think about that. And if you are interested in becoming part of the committee, then just reach out to Craig. So,
Mike, who's taking over from you?
that's in process at the moment.
But someone's coming?
There will be someone, yeah.
Okay.
Time frames don't know yet.
Okay, you're Sydney, right? So are you going to go back to new roles in Sydney, not in Canberra? So, all right.
Good. So now we come on to the main part of the show, which is really an overview of Microsoft Flow. So, most businesses typically have integration challenges. And today, a lot of them are actually about a simple solution, believe it or not. That's actually good. So, people think about integration and they think about all these big complex systems and how we can do all this stuff behind the scenes and do these months and months of integration. But because integrations are so complex and hard, more often than not, the integration is actually done by an individual. An individual will sit down and say, every time I get this, I go and do that. And so you are ultimately the central point of the system. So Microsoft acknowledged this, and yes, we've got technology to help you out in doing this behind the scenes and doing it as a big project, but we wanted to give the power of doing integration to an individual. And so what we decided to do is we came up with a product which is based off Logic Apps, which is an Azure service, but make it easier for users to go through and do things themselves. So rather than sitting there and building up code, which is what Logic Apps does, we've given a user interface for you to go through and build your own integrations, stuff which you can go through and help increase your own personal productivity. So it really just sort of allows you to work smarter by automating those workflows. So whether it be things like getting notifications, synchronizing your files between different locations, collecting data, or also going through approvals, these are all some of the capabilities of Flow. And we'll take a look at some of these in a demonstration as well. And what we've done is we've got a whole host of adapters which we've already created. We've linked into stuff both inside Microsoft and outside Microsoft, and then provided these templates. And so up here is just some of the templates which actually happen to relate to Dynamics, but there's, I can't remember the count now, but I think there's well over 150 different templates which you can start to use. And so these sort of connectors outside of Microsoft is things like Dropbox and Slack, push notifications, what else have we got up there?
Twitter, Facebook,
a whole range of things.
Gmail,
yes, Gmail. And this is still in preview. So what preview means is that it's a capability which you're able to use right here, right now, but it's not a fully supported product from Microsoft at this point in time. So what we sort of decided to do was open it up to the market, get people to use it, and then if you come across problems, there's a community to help you out with that. And Microsoft is absolutely listening to this and building this into the product. And then we've done that for a few months, and then what we'll do is we'll then wrap all those suggestions up and then come to market fully featured, finalised product, which means that, I guess, some of the stuff which you build today could be different when it becomes production ready. So as a result, we're not really recommending this for production grade integrations right now. But if you think back to what I was talking about before, where I was saying that integrations a lot of the time is really you, it's if you're doing something now and you're doing it manually and it's taking you 10 minutes and 200 clicks or whatever it is, and you can reduce that to something that's automated, yes, you're saving some time. If you have to change it again later on, then hopefully it's not too much of an impact for you, but we just wanted to get this out into people's hands to really start previewing sooner rather than later. But since we launched this a couple of months, 2 months ago I think, we've had the number of service providers increase. I think when we first launched it was 15, and now we've got 45 odd providers, which we've got an out-of-the-box adapter. We're expecting that this is going to continue and get a whole bunch more connectors in here. So we've got templates, but you don't have to use templates, and we'll take a look at that through the demo as well. So ultimately, what we do is we're going through and we can build up our own flow in a visual designer. So here's an example where we can say we're sending an exchange email whenever a file is added to Dropbox. Dropbox, not a Microsoft service. Somebody goes and drags something into their Dropbox, and then what we want to do is we want to send an exchange email. We want that email to be a little bit personalised. We don't just want to say, hey, there's a file there. We want to go through and actually start to merge in some of the data associated with maybe who dropped it there, or maybe what the contents of that file are, or maybe when it was, or things like this, and then building up that metadata associated with it, and then sending that out maybe to yourself, maybe to other people, and using this as a central collaboration tool as well, so that multiple people in your organisation can be notified of this action that's happening potentially in my own personal Dropbox. Okay. And then we can also go through and build out more advanced scenarios, which basically say, if there's something that looks like this, go down that path, but if it looks like something else, go down a different path. So it could be, for example, if there's a tweet that goes out, and the tweet is from somebody that's in my contact list about a particular keyword that I'm interested in, then it might go and notify me, or notify my manager, or whoever it might be via email. But if it's not something which necessarily needs to be actioned right away, or highlighted to me in some way, then I could just go and put that into another database and log that for reporting for later on, for example. So we can build up these rules and branches within the conditions, and also do multiple steps. So it's not just about sending an email. It's not just about updating the database. It's about doing multiple things with that, which is typically what happens in a lot of these integrations that you're working on. So if we look at the triggers and actions, basically from the trigger perspective, we've got starting action of the flow that can occur every X hours. So we could say every hour, or every 2 hours, every 12 hours, every 24 hours, for example, go and do this thing, which is go off and check something and then perform an action. It could be wait for some sort of event from an API that's in the cloud. So that is, for example, whenever there is a file dropped in Dropbox. It could be from a user hitting a button within Power App. So Power Apps is another new Microsoft capability where it's basically allowing you to go and build up your own little applications which you can run on your mobile devices, not just Windows devices, but Apple and Android. And so you can build up your own data collection points, and you might say, once I've submitted this, push a button, and then it goes and activates a flow to do something. Or we can manually post to an endpoint to expose the correct the requested trigger as well. So therefore, we are although most of this stuff is done through a nice, easy to use user interface for everybody, we do still open it up for developers to access, because ultimately it is still Logic Apps. So all the capability of Logic Apps is still there, it's just we put this interface in front of it. If we look at the actions, then what we can do is we can call an API into in the cloud to get some data or perform something. So whenever there's an update in Twitter or update in Facebook, then you go and get that data, or maybe you want to make a post. So it could be, for example, whenever there is a new case that has been closed and it was something that was highly public, then we want to automatically go and tweet out to everybody to say, isn't it great, you know, we, Department XYZ, have just resolved this big public issue, you know, yay us. You know, or it could be waiting for a human input.